Bonsoir à tous. Welcome. You're watching Eye on Africa. I'm Clarisse Fortuné. Coming up, these stories from across the continent. Sudan's army says it has broken the siege of El-Obeid after regaining control of a key supply route following intense fighting with the RSF. But as drone attacks intensify, hundreds of thousands of civilians remain trapped in a city. Chad is carrying out its first national census in nearly 2 decades. But as thousands of workers fan out across the country, reaching remote communities remains a major challenge. But many hope the count will bring long overdue services. And the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations is underway, with early matches already delivering excitement and surprises. As the continent's top teams battle for glory, we take a look at the standout moments and the key storylines emerging from the tournament. After 2 days of fierce battles against the RSF, the Sudanese army says it has gained control of the Al-Sadarat highway, a key military supply route, and effectively blocked the siege of El-Obeid. In response, the RSF has increased their drone strikes on El-Obeid, whilst hundreds of thousands of people are still stuck in a city. Take a look.
El-Obeid has been under siege for months, as the rapid support forces have gathered around the city. But the paramilitary group has now suffered a major setback. The Sudanese army has regained control of the Al-Sadarat highway, a key link between Khartoum and El-Obeid. In response, the RSF has drastically increased its drone strikes on El-Obeid.
Since the army took control, North Kordofan state has been targeted by drones. Each time the Sudanese army advances, the rapid support forces respond by targeting us.
About 500,000 people are still trapped in the city. The United Nations has warned of a humanitarian catastrophe, with residents struggling to survive amid the repeated drone attacks.
UN Women has heard from women and girls in El-Obeid that due to drone strikes targeting water sources and distribution points during daylight hours, they are forced to wait until after nightfall to collect water. These women and girls have been harassed, they've been raped, they've been subjected to other forms of sexual violence as they are just trying to get water.
According to the United Nations, the number of women and girls requiring gender-based violence services has quadrupled since the conflict began, reaching an estimated 12.7 million this year alone.
Chad has begun its first national census in nearly 2 decades. The nationwide exercise, launched a month ago, aims to provide long-awaited demographic data and a clear picture of the country's population. More than 20,000 census workers have been deployed, but challenges remain. Hard-to-reach communities risk being left out, while many residents see the census as a chance to bring attention to the lack of basic services in their areas. Harold Gerald reports.
More than 15 years after the last census, Chad has launched a new nationwide population count. In Massaguet, several teams are preparing for their first day in the field. They will work to produce an accurate picture of the country's population and reassess public service needs, including access to water and electricity. Ultimately, the numbers are meant to be public.
Some households understand the purpose of the census. They cooperate with us and provide reliable information. Others ask us, what benefits will this bring us?
Indeed, several families we meet tell us they hope the census will lead to better living conditions. Many seize the opportunity to highlight the lack of basic public services in their communities.
My daughters and I have just arrived here because of the census. The census teams haven't reached our village, so we came ourselves. We are poor. Our houses are poorly built. We farm the land, but often nothing grows. Our children go hungry. The government needs to know about all of this, and this is our chance to say it.
For government officials, the housing census is the fastest way to fulfill those needs.
Based on the data, the government will know what the real needs of the population are, their living conditions, where, for example, it needs to build hospitals, schools, or public toilets. The goal is to improve our population's living conditions. So we really hope that this housing census will be a success.
A massive and very complicated task covering more than 1.2 million square kilometers with thousands of isolated villages, vast desert regions, and a large nomadic population reaching every household in Chad is often an expedition in itself.
In Guinea, a student has died in detention after being imprisoned over alleged examination fraud in the national baccalaureate exams. He had been sentenced, along with several other candidates, to 1 month in prison. The case has sparked widespread outrage across the country. And following public anger over the teenager's death, the Conakry Court of Appeal ordered the release on Monday of the other detained candidates. And now a bit of sport. The 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations is well on the way. 4 matches have already been played since the tournament kicked off on Sunday. And our own champion, Emily Boyle, has been keeping a close eye on all the action. So welcome, Emily. So how's it going so far?
Yeah, it's going pretty well, especially if you're Morocco. Let's put it that way. Of course, WAFCON, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, started yesterday with the first fixtures in Group A. And host Morocco got off to a really good start, winning 4-0 against Kenya, thanks to a double by Ibtissam Rayadi and goals by Sakina Ouzraoui and Mariam Eziti. Senegal, meanwhile, did not hit the ground running, losing 2-0 to Algeria. The Phoenix got the lead late in the first half thanks to a penalty and topped off their victory late in the second as well with a powerful finish from Melissa Betty. Group B are playing their games today. Tanzania snatched their win in the dying minutes of their game against South Africa. A bit of a shock for Banyana, who were coming into the tournament as some of the favourites. They're ranked second on the continent, so hopefully they can make up for that in the next games. Meanwhile, Ivory Coast are up against Burkina Faso as we speak, so we'll bring you all the latest from that game a little bit later on.
Yeah, Badania was a bit of a disappointment. So what is coming up next?
Well, plenty more action, of course, as is customary in a WAFCON tournament. Tomorrow, Zambia face Egypt, and the game I've personally been waiting for. The reigning champions, the Super Falcons, Nigeria, are up against WAFCON debutants Malawi. Now, Nigeria have won 10 out of the 12 WAFCONs, and they're the reigning champions. They're also considered to be, as you might imagine, the favourites of this competition. So it'll be good to see if they can kick off their campaign with a win.
Yeah, well, the favourites that picked up the trophy and $1 million last year.
Yes, lifting up the trophy above their heads, taking home $1 million. And this year, there's even more cash up for grabs because CAF has announced it has doubled the prize money, which will be handed out at the end of the tournament. The winners won't only take home the trophy, they'll be taking those $2 million as well. Runners-up will pick up $750,000, while the overall pot has increased from 3.4 million to 5.8. A really good sign for women's football in Africa, of course, but we have to put it in perspective. The winners of the men's tournament take home around $7 million. So a good start. Still a bit of a way to go, though.
But let's face it, Emily, it's not all about money.
It's not all about money, especially not this year, because there's more than the trophy, there's more than the $2 million prize money. There is also 4 spots in next year's World Cup up for grabs. The 4 semi-finalists of this WAFCON will qualify for the World Cup next year in Brazil, taking place in the summer in Brazil, of course. 2 more African teams could qualify, though, so if they don't make it to the semi-finals, it's not all over. The 4 beaten quarter-finalists will go into a playoff bracket that offers the winners a shot getting their ticket to the finals via a 6-team intercontinental playoff being staged in late 2026 and early 2027. So a very important tournament for all involved, and keep your eye on those semi-finals.
And can you give me 3 teams I should keep an eye on?
3 teams, well, of course, we just mentioned them. The Super Falcons, Nigeria, of course, they're winning 10 out of the 12 past tournaments. They're super favourites. South Africa, even though they didn't have a great start to the tournament, they were second ranked in Africa. A lot of expectations, of course, on their shoulders. And I would be remiss not to mention the host country, the host nation of Morocco, the Atlas Lionesses. Now they've got a lot going for them. Their program is huge. They've been scaling up men's football, but women's football as well, as we've seen in the past few years. And they've got a lot of attention going to them. And there are quite a few standout players that you have to look out for as well. If I have time to quickly get their names in, as of course, Nigeria, Okoronkwo, she's one to watch. And talking about Morocco, I couldn't not mention Ghislaine's Chedad. She's the captain. She was voted Best African Player last year, so keep an eye out for her as well.
Yes, we will. Thank you very much, Emily. We'll continue to follow the tournament as it unfolds. And before we go, South Sudanese professional basketball player Wenyan Gabriel has been named the newest Goodwill Ambassador for the UN Refugee Agency. Born in Khartoum, he fled conflict with his parents before resettling in the United States. He went on to build a successful basketball career, playing in an NBA and representing South Sudan as its historic Olympic debut in Paris in 2024. And Gabriel becomes the first basketball player to serve as a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, having supported refugee causes and worked with the agency since 2022. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for watching Eye on Africa on France 24.
L'an dernier, France 24 a atteint
a historic number of digital views.
75 مليون مشترك.
Que nos siguen en las redes sociales.
Avec 2 milliards 600 millions de vidéos vues.
Proof that you share our passion.
بالأخبار الدولية.
Verificada e independiente.
شكرا.
Merci. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you for your confidence.
In the next French Connections, we'll take you to the 3rd arrondissement of Paris.
This is the quieter, more local side of the Marais and one of the oldest neighborhoods in Paris, a place where medieval history rubs shoulders with contemporary creativity.
From the Knights Templar to fashion designers, from royal prisoners to food lovers, not to mention some fascinating and at times quirky museums.
Join us as we wander through the 3e arrondissement.